Happy holidays, everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of Sports Corner. I'm Cole Young, and with the holidays just around the corner, this will be the final episode for Sports Corner for 2024. It's been an incredible year in sports, and I've had a lot of fun covering it all, and I look forward to what 2025 has to offer. For now, I'll get into everything from the past week and preview what we have on the horizon. As usual, starting in the NFL, the playoffs are just 3 weeks away. It's do or die for a handful of teams. A few teams are coasting after having already clinched a playoff spot, and a lot are just waiting for the season to end as they have already been eliminated from the postseason. In Week 15, teams like the Bengals, Rams, Commanders, Buccaneers, and Broncos all boosted their playoff chances by picking up wins. Some were nail-biters, like the Rams' win over the 49ers, and the Commanders holding on to narrowly beat New Orleans in the last second, while the Bengals, Buccaneers, and Broncos all scored a ton of points in their wins. In what was probably the game of the year so far, we got a preview of what very well could be this year's Super Bowl matchup, the Bills versus the Lions. Bills quarterback and current MVP frontrunner Josh Allen ran for 2 touchdowns in the first quarter and threw 2 touchdown passes in the second half, leading the Buffalo Bills to a 48-42 victory Sunday that snapped the Detroit Lions' franchise record 11-game winning streak. Allen was 23 of 34 for a season-high 362 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Lions didn't go down easy, though, and Jared Goff had a career game of his own. Goff matched a career high by throwing 5 touchdown passes for the NFC North leading Lions, who now sit with a 12-2 record. Goff's 5th touchdown pass came with just 12 seconds left when he connected with Jamison Williams from 3 yards out, but the Lions couldn't recover the onside kick to set up a game-ending Hail Mary try, and the Bills held on to win. On the other end of the quarterback spectrum, the Atlanta Falcons announced this week that they're benching quarterback Kirk Cousins. Cousins left the Vikings this past offseason and signed a massive 4-year, $180 million contract with the Falcons. Just weeks after, the Falcons faced heavy criticism for drafting quarterback Michael Penix Jr. early in the first round back in April. Now, Penix will get his shot in Atlanta. The Falcons basically had no choice but to bench Cousins, unfortunately. The 7-7 Falcons are still in the hunt for the NFC South title, but their lead on the division crumbled during a 1-4 stretch in which Cousins threw only 1 touchdown pass and 9 interceptions and took 11 sacks. It will be interesting to see how Penix performs in this offense and what the Falcons decide to do about their quarterback room in the long term. I yet again went 3-1 in my picks this past week, bringing me to 36-10 on the year. I didn't achieve my goal of having only single-digit losses this year, but that's what happens when you put your faith in the Carolina Panthers. Anyway, hopefully I can get back to my undefeated ways this week. For Week 16, I'll go with the Lions to bounce back from their loss and pick up a win over the rival Chicago Bears, the Vikings to make it 8 wins in a row with a victory on the road in Seattle, Buffalo to handedly beat the Patriots, and the Packers to get a primetime Monday night win over the struggling New Orleans Saints. With all of that said, here's the weekly playoff picture update. The Steelers and Texans claimed their seats in the AFC with wins this past week, and the Vikings punched their ticket as well after their incredible win streak continued. I've mentioned it before, but as a spoiler alert, this show is pre-taped on Thursdays. So, with that said, the Broncos might have already clinched their spot with a win over the Chargers. If not, they can still clinch with a win next week. The Ravens can also earn their spot with a win this week. In the NFC, the Bucs, Rams, Packers, and Commanders are all looking like shoo-ins to the postseason, but a win this week for all of them would definitely not hurt their chances. No new teams have been officially eliminated, although this list will without a doubt change next week. The first round of the college football playoffs kicks off today, and there are a handful of must-watch games to see what programs will advance to the next round. Tonight at 5 p.m. on ABC, we'll have the first playoff matchup of number 10 Indiana and number 7 Notre Dame in South Bend, Indiana. The winner of this matchup will move on to face the Georgia Bulldogs in the Sugar Bowl. Then, starting at 9 a.m. on Saturday, number 11 SMU will travel to Pennsylvania to face number 6 Penn State to see who will face Boise State in the Fiesta Bowl. That game will be on TNT. Following that, at 1 p.m. on TNT, will be the number 12 Clemson Tigers facing off with number 5 Texas in Austin, Texas, for a chance to play Arizona State in the Peach Bowl. And closing out the day will be probably the game of the week, when number 8 Ohio State will host number 9 Tennessee in Columbus, Ohio at 5 p.m. on ABC. Whoever comes out on top of that game will have the toughest task going forward, as they will have to face the top-ranked Oregon Ducks in the Rose Bowl. The second-round games will all be played on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, so don't miss out on any of the action. I don't usually make college football predictions, but might as well give it a shot. I'll go with Texas, Ohio State, Notre Dame, and SMU to win out of the first round. Sticking with college football, but away from the playoffs, a major household name made headlines this past week. Bill Belichick was hired to coach the University of North Carolina Tar Heels football team. The most successful NFL coach in history with Super Bowl rings for 8 of his 10 fingers, 6 with the New England Patriots and 2 as a defensive coordinator with the New York Giants, agreed to come to UNC at age 73 to establish, in his words, a professional program at the collegiate level. Belichick signed a 5-year, $50 million contract and is looking to mold these young players for the NFL and life after football. His coaching history speaks for itself, but it'll be very interesting to see how Belichick handles the new realm of college football with things like NIL deals and transfer portals and all of that other new era stuff. Speaking of postseasons and trophies, the NBA in-season Cup tournament came to a close on Tuesday night. The Milwaukee Bucks have won the 2024 NBA Cup with a dominant 97-81 victory over the Oklahoma City Thunder. Giannis Antetokounmpo was selected MVP after he scored 26 points to go along with 19 rebounds and 10 assists, adding to an already lengthy resume of accolades including Finals MVP, 2-time League MVP, and NBA champion. It's a game that only counted for tournament purposes, but there was a ton of additional bonus money for Bucks players. They got $514,971 apiece, while the Thunder players got $205,988 each. But the win, the loss, and the statistics from the game won't count towards the regular season. And although this win doesn't count for the regular season, it still shows what an absolute tear the Bucks have been on recently. This was their 13th win in their last 16 games, even though it won't be part of the official record. After 24 hours off on Wednesday, the NBA regular season resumed on Thursday. Other than the massive Juan Soto news a few weeks back, it's been a few months since I've had really anything baseball related to cover, but the MLB free agency period is open and some big names are moving around. It was announced on Tuesday that the New York Yankees acquired outfielder/first baseman Cody Bellinger in a trade with the Chicago Cubs, continuing to try and stock up on high-end talent in the wake of Soto's defection to the New York Mets. Chicago also sent cash considerations to New York, which shipped right-hander Cody Poteet to the Cubs to complete the deal. Bellinger was the 2019 National League MVP and returned to MVP-level form in 2023 after a few subpar seasons. After hitting .266 with 18 home runs and 78 RBIs this year, Bellinger entered free agency. With all that said, due to all the holiday schedules, this will be the final show of 2024. Thank you, as always, for tuning into this segment for the past 52 weeks and the past 135 episodes we've done. Hard to believe that Sports Corner is almost 3 years old now. Anyways, I hope you all have an incredible holiday season filled with lots of fun, laughter, and of course, sports. Don't miss out on the first episode of the new year on January 3rd. I'm Cole Young, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.